Hi, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today. I'm so happy that you're here on the LIFEHAC Podcast. I'm happy that you're listening and that you decided to give us a few minutes of your time. All right, so today we are talking about something that I think most of us kind of deal with on a regular basis, and we may or may not even know why we're dealing with it, and I hope today we will shed some light on that. We're talking about procrastinating, and we're talking about what that actually is, and if it is something that you need to actually fix, and what that underlying issue might be. Now, most of us already know what procrastination is, right? It's when we are avoiding something or we're putting off doing something because we either don't feel like it or we think that we should go on to something else or it's not as important. I've been reading some research on procrastination from the neuropsychological point of view. And Nawal Mustafa, she is the brain coach on Instagram. I hope you'll check out some of her work. She posted about procrastination, and I wanted to share that with you guys. One of her theories, one of the pieces of research that's coming out is that procrastination is not really just an act of something that we're avoiding and something that we're doing, but that it's really almost a nervous system issue, almost something to do with your brain's ability to comprehend what it is you have to do and what it is you're looking at doing. And so she has 4 different reasons why you might be procrastinating and what is related to that procrastination. So as we're going through those, I want you to think about it. Think about an actual situation where you know you've procrastinated and you know that you put off doing something and just didn't want to do it. And maybe the reason you didn't want to do it is because of one of these 4 emotions, if you will. The key to getting over procrastination is managing these emotions. That first emotion being overwhelm. Maybe you feel like it's just too much. Maybe you feel like, oh my God, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. I have to eat a whole elephant and now it's just too much to do. The way that you get over that overwhelm, if that is the emotion that you're feeling and that's why you're not doing the things and not doing the task, is to actually break that task down into smaller, more manageable steps. And then you really want to focus on one step at a time. I know this sounds cliche. I know you've probably heard this multiple times in your life, but it really is one foot in front of the other. You really need to do one thing at a time. If your thing is to write a dissertation, i.e., I just finished that last year for getting my doctorate, and this is a 200-page document, right? If you look at the 200 pages, you're never going to do it. Nobody sits down and says, I'm going to write 200 pages. That's just not a thing. You can't do it in one session. However, if I broke it down like I did, I broke it down first into chapters, and then I broke it down into topics, and then I broke it down into themes, and then I broke it down into what I wanted to talk about in those themes, I realized I really was only writing about 4 or 5 pages at a time because I broke it down into measurable and related tasks that I needed to accomplish. And I found that I was able to knock that out over a spread of time because I wasn't looking at the whole task. So if overwhelm is your thing, break it down into smaller tasks and then hit it one task at a time. Another emotion that you might be dealing with and why you're procrastinating is because you're bored or disinterested. This kind of plays out if you're trying to push yourself to get started to do something and you're like 10 minutes into it and you just don't like it. You hate it. It's not interesting. You don't understand why you have to do it. It's irrelevant to what you're trying to accomplish, but it's something that's required. This kind of happens a lot in school and on the job. Even if you're bored, I would encourage you to set like a 10-minute timer. Give yourself 10 minutes. Give yourself 15 minutes, whatever that time is. I found for me a 10 or 15-minute timer for me to just work on that thing that I don't want to do will more than likely kickstart me into doing it and finishing it because I don't want to put it back. I don't want to pick it back up. I just don't. So I'm going to finish it. But give yourself that 5 or 10 minutes to just start. And then if you still don't want to do it, stop. But at least you did it for 5 or 10 minutes. A third emotion that you might be dealing with and why you're procrastinating is anxiety. Maybe you're anxious. Maybe you are just riled up in just the thought of you starting on this task and accomplishing this task is really giving you some serious anxiety. This is a real thing. If you really have anxiety issues, I would encourage you to speak with a mental health professional. Again, I'm not giving mental health advice. However, you may need to see about some symptoms or some treatment for that. But if it's not a full-blown anxiety attack and you're not into, you don't think that it's a clinical thing, then try practicing deep breathing. Try practicing centering yourself before you begin the thing. If you think about whatever that thing is and your heart rate starts to increase and you're just, you feel like your head is pounding and you can hear your heart in your chest, then take some deep breaths. That deep breath would look like Breathe in for 4, hold it for 2, breathe out for 3. So it's the 4-2-3 method. Breathe in for 4, hold it for 2, breathe out for 3. And you will be surprised if you do that about 4 or 5 times, all of a sudden that anxious feeling, that anxiety that you have about that thing will go away. And then you want to just start. Finally, the next emotion that you might be dealing with of why you're procrastinating is self-doubt. Maybe you don't feel like you can actually do it. Maybe you don't feel qualified, you don't feel prepared, you don't feel like you have the education, you don't know what you're doing, you feel like you're an imposter, whatever it is. That self-doubt can show up in so many different ways for us, depending on what it is that we're doing. The way you combat that is to remind yourself that the action of doing something is what builds self-confidence, right? The only way you get self-confidence is if you actually do it. You have to do the thing to be confident that yourself can complete the thing. So just start. Just do it. I dare you to just do it. If you were in the ring around the rosy cycle of I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't know enough, I'm not fill in the blank, just try it. Just get out your head and say, you know what? I'm not this, but I'm going to try it anyway. And you would be surprised. You would absolutely be surprised what you can accomplish by doing it anyway. I would encourage you to do it anyway. Again, if you're procrastinating, more than likely it is an emotional response to something that is happening to you. It's not necessarily the task. It's what you're thinking about the task. It's what you're feeling about the task. If you will think about what it is and what you're actually feeling, one of these 4 feelings will more than likely be the reason why you're procrastinating. And if you can combat and use some of the tips that we've talked about here, hopefully you can begin to accomplish the things that it is you're trying to do, the things that you're required to do, the things that you need to do to get to the next level. I love you. I appreciate you for listening, and I hope to talk to you soon. Have a good one. Hi, you guys. Thanks for joining us on this show.
Are you looking for a way to get back into taking care of yourself? Do you feel like you are always the last one on your list to take care of? I have the perfect free tool to help with that. The Self-Care Planner is just the thing you need to jumpstart your focus on your needs. The planner will take you on a 6-day guided journey with suggestions and prompts you can use to draw the focus back to yourself. Check it out today by clicking the link in the show notes.